The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from Cosmos. Hello and welcome to another episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
I'm Megan the daughter.
Megan, what are we going to play today?
We're going to play Imhotep The Duel, and this is from Cosmos.
Yeah, this is a two-player only game, so if you're familiar with the regular Imhotep that plays up to 4 players, this one is specifically geared to only 2.
Which is good for us.
So we are going to actually be doing our own thing. In regular Imhotep, you're working on the same boards. Here we're actually going to have our own boards. So we're going to have our own pyramid, our obelisks, you know, that sort of thing. So we're going to be unloading boats and trying to get those on our stuff.
Gotcha.
Or my stuff.
Your stuff?
Yeah, my stuff. Your stuff?
My stuff.
I don't know. So if you want to see who unloads boats better, check out our video. I would say we have this set up as a 2-player game, but guess what? It's a 2-player only game.
Yeah.
So we each have our own boards here. We have an obelisk, a temple, a pyramid, and a tomb. And we have played both A and B side because these are double-sided. So what we've decided to do is we are going to take our obelisk tile here, and you can see there's side A and there's side B. And we're going to do this in a very scientific way to determine which one we're going to use in this video.
Flip it. Whoops. Not like that.
Here, we'll actually
Properly
flip it like this.
Like a coin. It's B.
It is B. So let me show you what the B side looks like.
And then we'll show you what the A looks like after we play.
Yeah, that'll be in our review. So the B obelisk is the first person to have 5 in the obelisk is going to get 12 points. The second is going to score 6 points. Next we have our temple. So the temple, we're going to be going for sets, and the number of the tiles that we have in the set is going to give us certain points. So 1 will give us 1, 4 will give us 16. Next we have our pyramid, and the pyramid says only the smaller pyramid is scored because we're going to have 2 pyramids. We have the light and the dark. So we're going to be building those out, but we want to try to build those evenly so that we can score better points.
And if you are colorblind, the pyramids have different lines in them too, so you can differentiate them that way.
Oh, I didn't even pay any attention to that.
Yeah, because the light ones don't have any lines, but the darker brown ones, they have they look like tears. They've got like 2 lines in them to like differentiate.
Very cool.
Yep.
And then finally we have the tomb, and every group scores 4 points regardless of its size. So what we're going to do is we're going to get scarabs, and we're going to be putting those around here based on the number that's on the scarab. So what we want to do is we want to try to have multiple sets. Instead of getting ones next to each other, we would have like, you know, 1 and a 3, because those would count as two groups, and we'd get 4 points apiece for those. So now that you know which side we're playing and what each one of those does, let's kind of tell you how the game is played. On our turn, we have 4 meeples. So I am black, Megan is white. And you'll see here we have our harbor board, and the ships that, if you're familiar with the base game of Imhotep, that is all about getting ships that have your stones in order to go and build obelisks and go to the pyramids and all that good stuff. Here, the ships are already docked in the harbor. So you'll notice that there are 6 docks there, and we have a grid of 9 spaces that we can go. So what we're going to do on our turn, one of the things we can do is we can take our meeple and we can put it on one of those spaces. Now, to start the game off, that's what we're both going to have to do. So let's just say Megan goes there. Now that we have 2 meeples, we can actually look and see where those 2 meeples are at, and we can unload a boat. Now, that's just an option. We don't have to do that. Here, we would have an option of either unloading this boat or unloading that boat. And the way we unload boats is whoever is closest to the boat actually starts with the back tile. They would take that. In this case, I would take the next tile. And since we've got no one here, that tile then would be out of the game. The meeples are then removed. The ones that were not part of the unloading process, one that was there, would stay until that boat is unloaded, or this boat is unloaded. You also notice we have 3 tiles here. There are these blue tiles that are action tiles. So another thing we can do on our turn is we can play an action tile. And some of these will tell you basically to take a tile off of a boat. And when you do that, we're going to replace it with one of these 3 tiles. The action tiles, I think there's 3 of each. So this says take 1 token. So we would take 1 token off of any boat, and then we would replace it with one of those that's in that reserve spot. We have one that says place 2 to 3 meeples. This says swap 2 tokens and then unload a boat. Now, when you play this one, you can swap 2 tokens on a boat, but that's not the boat you have to unload. And then finally we have this one that says you get to place 1 meeple and unload a boat, and you get to do that 2 times if you want. So place a meeple, unload a boat, place another meeple, unload another boat. And you'll notice we got this nice little cloth bag here that we use, and we've shuffled all the tiles up inside of that.
The baggie does not come with the game. This is something we added.
That
so
is,
it's easier.
That is us blinging out the game.
Yes.
So rules say the first player, or the youngest player,
is the first player. Yes.
So Megan will get to go first.
I'm just going to pick the safe spot. Go in the middle. Claim it. It's pretty good just to grab that, I feel like. Do that. There's a couple different strategies to go with the B side that are different from the A side, so just kind of figuring out what you want to do. Let's go ahead and unload this boat right here.
All right, so since I am the closest to the boat, I will get this last token, and Megan gets the other 2. We place these on our boards in the correct spots. We get our meeples back, and then we refill the boats. Now, the way the game end of game is triggered is
no more boats.
when we have no more boats. When we get to the end of the tokens, and we cannot fill up a boat, that boat goes away, and we'll still continue to place our meeples and that sort of thing until we only have 1 boat left.
So I unloaded.
So you unloaded.
It's your turn.
So I will go there. All right, let's unload this boat.
Okay.
So I will get my 2 meeples back, and I get the 2 obelisks, and those will go, and I will stack those on top of each other there.
There we go.
I will point out the one action tile that says you can take a tile off of a boat. You cannot take another action tile with that. Let's go ahead and unload this boat. So I get those back, and I get a couple more scarabs here.
What numbers did you get?
I have 1 and 5.
Okay.
And I also have 12 already.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. So you unloaded it. I'll go there. This one.
So since she was the only one who had meeples there, she gets all 3 tiles.
There we go.
I'm going to unload this boat here.
So I get the 1.
You get the 1, and I get those.
This plays pretty quick with 2 players. Especially us. We know what our moves are pretty much. What kind of strategies we normally end up going for.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and unload this boat here.
That's good for me.
And get another obelisk.
Obelisk. Can you seat it, por favor?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So you unloaded it.
I unloaded. Let's unload this boat.
So I get the 2.
And because no one was there, the last one gets discarded. Is out of the game.
Sure. So unload this one so you can get that. I'll take this. There's your maple.
Thank you.
So I unloaded it, so it's your turn next.
Let's go ahead and unload this boat.
That one's for me.
So I get those 2.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, because I am the first one to get a
I
height of
didn't
5
realize.
obelisks, I will actually flip this over to show I was the first one, and I will be getting 12 points at the end of the game. And then the blue action token I just keep in front of
I
me.
didn't see you got that far yet. Crap.
Yeah. I've been
See.
collecting.
I didn't pay that much attention to that. Alright. That's fine then. Go here. It doesn't really matter now if you get more obelisks unless you get 10 of them, because then you score more there, but
Yeah.
I would like to get 3 more so I can at least score 6 on you. That would help a little. Out of meeples. Let's unload this one. So I'll get those 2. You can get this one. Now I'm even on the pyramids. That's a boat I want to hit up.
All right. I'm going to play this token, which says I get to swap 2 tokens on a boat and unload. So I'm going to swap like this.
Nice.
And then I'm going to unload this boat, so I will get these 2 tokens, and this one will go bye-bye.
Okay. Go here. And go ahead and unload this. So I get that, you get that. So I unloaded. That's your turn.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to play this action token, which says place 2 or 3 meeples.
Nice.
So dink, dink, dink.
It's pretty good. Just kind of secured that one.
Now, one of the things that you can do, and kind of to take that aspect of this, is you can force someone else to unload a boat. Now, granted, you're giving them tokens,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's helpful to kind of hose them over a little bit.
Would you like to unload this one?
I'm trying to decide which one I actually want to unload.
Or this one? Or that one? Or this one? You got like all the boats you can unload other than that one.
All the boats.
All the boats.
All the boats, all the time. Yes, I will unload this boat, so I'll take these 3 dudes back.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oops.
Last boat.
So the
Bag's
no
empty.
more tokens.
Yep. Getting to it.
Now, I'm going to play this one, this action token that says take 1 token. And I'm going to take this one off of the boat, and then we will replace it with one from here.
Nice.
Ooh, an 8 and a 9.
I'm going to unload this one so you get the 1. I get
Just took
these
a
2.
1.
Well, too bad. And this boat's out of the game.
Boat goes and sails on.
Nope, I got your meeple.
Hey.
Ah, sorry, I didn't
Taking
mean
my
to.
meeple?
I did not mean to. I was just
Oh.
clearing the board.
Go there.
Excuse me. Gonna place 1 meeple and unload this one so you can get that. I'll get these. Take those back. And this is I can unload 1 to 2, so I can unload this one too, right?
So you placed the meeple,
Yeah.
and you unloaded the boat.
Yes.
So yes, you can place another meeple and unload another boat.
Great. I'll put that meeple there, and then I'll unload this one. So this one goes away, and then I get these 2.
And those guys come back.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to play the take a token, and I'm going to take this token.
Okay. Go there.
This is kind of like a little chess match that's going
Maybe,
on.
yeah. Okay. Is that what you want to do?
You know what?
I'm being nice. I'm letting you have a redo. You placed it.
All right.
Oh, I mean, I said I'm being nice if you want.
That's okay.
Okay. Swap 2 tiles and unload. So, do that. So then I get this one and that one.
I'll get this middle one.
There you go.
Both goes away.
Okay.
And then I want to unload this boat.
Cool.
Yep, so I'll get that. This
And I
goes
got
away.
5. So I can score that at least.
Well, I wanted to do this because I wanted to, oops, I got my pyramid on the wrong side.
Hey, don't be cheating there. B side.
Yeah, the B side. Don't say the B word. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Stop!
Beetlejuice.
I don't like that. I'm just traumatized.
Yeah, I'll go there.
That's
Oh, wait a minute.
It's the only place you can go.
Actually, no, because we've triggered the end of the game already, because
What?
the game ends when there's only 1 boat left.
Oh, well.
Yeah, whoops. So,
Alright then.
we'll just back that one up. All right, so we're going to tally up the points and find out who wins. All right, so Dad ended up with 53.
I had 61.
Yeah.
That's like one of my higher scoring games.
Yeah,
But
so
the B side does score a lot higher than the A side.
so I think where I didn't score any points here, but I didn't score negative. I did get the bonus for the obelisk, and that was kind of what I was going for. That and the scarabs.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get one more.
Yeah, that would have helped if you would have got the 8, but didn't because we couldn't get that last boat.
Well, I mean, you got 6 for your
I
obelisk.
had 6 there. I had 20 here. I had 18 on my pyramids. Which
Yeah, that was.
At least you didn't have a negative, but that would have been -6 if you didn't have anything there.
Yeah, I think that was the game winner right there.
Yep.
All right, so now let's get to what we think. Would
you
you like?
lost. I'll let you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this game because I like Imhotep.
I don't.
Well,
I don't like Imhotep. I'll let you continue. You continue, then I'll give my negative opinion.
Okay. No, one of the things I like about Imhotep is I like the double-sided boards, and we'll talk about that kind of when we wrap up our review. But I like how everything is variable here. You're pulling tiles out of a bag. You don't know where they're going to be on the boat. It's very strategic on where you place, because as you're placing your dudes around there, you may be trying to set yourself up for unloading one of those particular boats, and your opponent then says, guess what, we're unloading this other boat. And you may not even realize you're helping them get to the point where they needed having their guys in the right space, or just being able to satisfy the conditions to unload the boat. Gameplay wise, I like that. For me, it's nice and crunchy, because you're trying to anticipate what the other player is doing, and you're trying to set yourself up for the best possible move you can have on your turn. And then, like I said, here I was just trying to make sure that I got one spot on each of the pyramids in order to make sure that I didn't get negative points.
Yeah. I do like the kind of screw you aspect of it, like you kind of said, of maybe like making you unload like a different boat than what you were probably planning on. I kind of like that the two sides have different like objectives, no matter how you strategize with how you want to play. But I was not a big fan of Imhotep, and this still isn't really doing it for me. I know learning it, I had a lot of time just grasping the concept. I don't know if I was just because I was tired, or it just didn't click. I
think is it the spatial aspect?
I don't know, because the grid thing just confused me for like the first 2 games we played. I was like, this does not make sense. I mean, I picked it up and I got it, but it just like went right over my head. And I mean, it's not a hard game. I'm probably just like stupid on that, but I don't know. I mean, the components are cool. I like the artwork. I like the Egyptian theme, which I think is cool. It's just not my favorite game. But I do like there's variability, though, with the A and B side with kind of how you do strategize. So I do like that, at least.
Okay, so now that we've talked about the gameplay and what you didn't like about it, let's talk about what each of the things do. We already talked about what A says. Oh, Megan's already got these. So the A side of the obelisk says that each obelisk token is going to give you 1 point, and if you have the majority, you're going to get 6 points. So the temple, those temple tiles, we were going for sets on the B side. Here, we're going to get each of the circles is going to score points. So in that one there, it will score 4 points. So a little bit different. So the pyramid, both pyramids are going to score on the A side. And the number of tokens that you have is going to give you the different points. So if you have 6 points or if you have 6 tiles in the light pyramid, you're going to get 21 points. And let's say you had 3 in the dark pyramid, that's going to give you another 6 points.
Yep.
And then finally you have the tomb. So on this side, every group of connected tokens is going to be scored. So here you want to try to get the tokens next to each other. And the side we played, you wanted them apart. So you would get points here. Say if you had a 1, 2, 3, and 4, then you're going to score 16 points.
Yep.
Whereas on our side, we wanted those separate, so we're going to get 4 points for each one of those. So that's one of the things I really like about it. I like the fact that you don't know how the tokens are going to come out on the board. You don't know what these 3 tokens are. And those are only going to come into play whenever you're taking tokens off of the board.
Which that could be a strategy too if you're not getting maybe something you want up, and you're realizing near the end of the game maybe you want to start taking to see what those 3 might be, especially if you're kind of figuring out what's already came up and what could be in the bag.
Yeah. Component-wise, I think the components are nice. The meeples that we have, they're nice, chunky wooden meeples. The tokens themselves, the cardboard, they're nice, sturdy, thick cardboard. The boards themselves, like Megan said, the artwork is really good, but you can see that they're nice, thick, and they don't take up a whole lot of space. I mean, the box itself doesn't really take up much space. The rule book is really small. Is nice. You've got good illustrations. It's like Megan said, it's not a difficult game.
No, I do also like the fact that each of the
here's the insert.
Yeah, I like that each of the pieces has its own scoring guide on it, depending on which side, so it's easy just to kind of look at a glance. You're not having to consult the rule book or remember off the top of your head. So I do like there's like that little cheat sheet on how you might score points and what you kind of want to go for there. So, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, going back to you not really liking Imhotep that much, the base game, you know, you played it with only 2 players.
Yeah.
And it does play so much better with 3 and 4 players. This one, I think, still gives you that same feel, but it's definitely more strategic because you're trying to figure out where you want to place your guys there. And then also tactical because you have to work with what the board is going to give you. Sometimes you may end up unloading a boat that you don't necessarily want to, but there's a tile there that you really want to make sure that you get, or you want to make sure you don't screw yourself up, like in this case where I don't want to get the 2 tile or the 2 scarab here because that removes 2 groups, and now I only have 1 group, so that cost me 4 points if that would have happened.
Yeah.
But overall, Dad recommends the game. Daughter, it's just not her thing.
It's not a bad game. It's just, it's not for me.
But I think if you like the base game of Imhotep, you're going to like this.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like the base game of Imhotep a lot, and I like this just as much.
Yeah.
All right, so that is Imhotep The Duel, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.